I'd like to thank my terrible childhood.
Hey, welcome back to Black Press. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.
Now let's get to it.
Hey, welcome back.
Welcome back.
I'm Egotrish.
I'm your boy, Mr. Define.
And we are
Black Press.
If this is your first time watching, please remember to hit like, comment, share, and
Subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications for all future episodes. So, the Oscars were this week, and
everybody looked nice.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I really don't care. Like Oscars, woo! A bunch of people was talking. A bunch of people got awards. Some people didn't. Most black people didn't normally. So, didn't really matter. But there was one thing that was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And it was when Robert Downey Jr. got his award, and I'll let you see what happened.
And the Oscar goes to Robert Downey Jr.
This is the first Oscar win for Robert Downey Jr. and his third nomination.
Thank you. Thanks, Sam. Thanks, fellas. That's amazing. You only flubbed one line. I'd like to thank my terrible childhood and the Academy in that order. I'd like to thank I'm a veterinarian. I meant wife, Susan Downey over there. She found me a snarling rescue pet, and you love me back to life. That's
all. Right? He flubbed the line too. You saw that, right? He meant to put veterinarian before he did the blah, blah, but did the blah, blah first, and then said veterinarian, and then the blah, blah again. But so obviously he thought about that part. But that was interesting to me because I mean we know what his past was like. He had all these drugs and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But
he cleaned up good.
Yeah.
I remember.
And so he had but obviously we don't know what happened at like in the early years of his life. All we know is he was on the wagon, or is it off the wagon? He was on drugs and all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is, it's funny because I've seen people like say, oh, well, Robert Downey Jr. did all these messed up things and he got over it. You know, critics let him get back in. But somebody went through some crazy stuff when the first thing they say is, I want to thank all the crappy things that happened in my life first.
Mm-hmm.
So it literally made me like, okay, white people got it rough too. We as a community try to think, and I say try to think because we actually try to continue that narrative that all white people are successful and it's the system of white people that's holding us down. But when it's actually a system of wealthy white people, those people that are percentages, I think it's like the top 2% of America owns more wealth than all of the rest of America. So because white people are like 60 something, 70 something percent of our actual population, and only 2% of Americans are actually wealthy. That means that if it's 67% white people, that means 65% of white people are not wealthy. So while there's been a systemic system or systemic racism that was set up to keep black people impoverished, there was also a social system and economic system that kept most of the white people impoverished. So it actually made me want to talk about this on camera because we have to stop thinking that only our life sucks. It's only tough for us. and everybody else, and especially white people, have it like just made.
Yeah, it's tough for everybody.
It is. And yes, we had slavery and it was horrible. And we are still trying to come back from the impact of that and Jim Crow and redlining and all of the other things.
Yeah.
But we were also not shipped off to the schools like Native Americans were as children
Yeah.
to be retrained to be white. We were also
But we weren't allowed to read. so,
exactly.
Yeah.
We, and that's what I'm saying. We all have had crappy stuff happen to us. The reason why we have had crappy stuff happen to us, not because of just white people, but because there are evil people, when presented with opportunities, will actually use those opportunities to do evil things.
Yeah.
And if you think I'm lying, look at this next video.
And tonight it's an exclusive interview with Princess Diana's only brother and the godson of Queen Elizabeth. His new book, sending shockwaves around the world. It's called A Very Private School, and it goes into detail about the years of alleged abuse Charles Spencer says he lived through at a prestigious British boarding school called Madewell Hall. Spencer talks about his story and the stories of the 25 former students that he's interviewed over the past 5 years. Sitting down with our Cynthia McFadden at his family's estate in the English countryside for his first interview about the book. And tonight, a piece of that interview that's not been seen anywhere else, a new clip where Spencer talks with Cynthia about why some of the parents may not have been asking questions about what was happening with their kids at the time.
There's one mother I know who came from a less privileged background, and she was so thrilled that her son was at this school that when he went home with his buttocks beaten into a bloody pulp, she quietly for 2 weeks took his underpants covered in blood and washed them without asking him a single question, because she felt so excited to have her son mixing with well-known families.
It's disturbing to hear, as Spencer also talks with Cynthia about an experience that has haunted him the most from his time at the boarding school, when a woman in charge of taking care of students, he says, sexually abused him. Listen.
She would come round to my bed when others were asleep and kiss me, French kiss, for ages. And it was if I was 17, 18, it would be a different thing, but I was 11. It was so confusing.
Madewell Hall responding to NBC News in a statement saying they've reached out to the local authorities in charge of protecting children, and that, as you see here, we will follow their guidance on what we do from this point. We would encourage anyone with similar experiences to come forward and contact those officials or the police. Again, that's Madewell Hall. Cynthia is joining us now. Some pretty stunning details that Charles Spencer is telling.
And
you know
we
what?
have,
I want to say something, because he kept that in him for so long because his sister was a princess.
She asked him. She asked, when was the first time you told anybody about those thoughts? He said, when I was 43 years old with my psychiatrist. And my psychiatrist said, whisper in my ear and tell me something that you've never told anybody. He said, when I was 11 years old, I was talking about a lady at my school. And he held that to 43 years old.
That's long.
It is. And I'm not saying that to minimize what we go through, because we have that uncle or that brother or that cousin or that family friend neighbor that has done something atrocious to us. But I don't want us to think that it's only us, because when we do that, then we find a way to hold on to it as if we can't get over something that has happened to nobody but us, when actually we should be looking at other things to say, it's happened to somebody else and they got through it.
And you're not alone.
I'm not alone. And if they got through it, I can get through it. Mm-hmm. But we focus, especially in our community, we focus so much on the negative instead of actually using that, like Robert Downey Jr. said, and thanking that, because if I made it through that, I can make it through anything.
Yeah.
If I made it through the horror, if I made it through the shame, if I made it through the abuse, if I made it through all of that and I'm still here, there should be no limit to what I can accomplish. Because I survived that.
That's why they always say, don't let anything limit you. Like your battles and your struggles, those are things that are built to make you stronger.
Yeah.
You can't let things break you.
Exactly. So, I just wanted to tell everybody out there, it sucks for some of everybody.
Yeah.
There's in every race, every gender, every creed, every nationality, somebody's suffering through something. And when we realize that somebody else might be going through it too, we recognize that it's not just me. It's not because I was too vulnerable or because I didn't fight back. It was because somebody who was evil had an opportunity to be evil. And that is why it happened. And the only thing I can do is understand that if I survive that, I can survive anything. When you do that, you can survive anything. And you can be successful in anything you put your mind to, because nothing can be tougher than that.
Yeah.
Nothing can be tougher than that. So if I have to be uncomfortable while I'm pushing my way through the top, nothing was tougher than what I've been through. And that's what I think. That's the way I try to push through. So just want to share that. What do you think? Do you think that Robert Downey Jr. was correct in thinking all of the negative things? Or do you think he was just another successful white male that got it his way eventually?
Thank you for that story. That was very touching.
Yeah. So, guess we'll try to push that one out on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Maybe. Anyway, what do you think? Please like, comment, share this with someone, and subscribe.
But I also want to say,
yes,
when you do share this with someone, because a lot of times we don't identify like the people that can be like affected. So if you were affected by anything that was mentioned in this video, we there's nothing we can say to like
definitely not.
Yeah, to take away your pain, but definitely know you're not alone, and definitely seek services if you need to.
And you always got a friend in Jesus.
Yes, we do. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your support. I'm your girl Trish.
I'm your boy, Mr. Define.
And we are Black Press. Please like, comment, share,